Hello everyone. What's up? Welcome to GMA24 Update News Channel. Hope you will enjoy our news video. Before we begins, hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Here is the news title. Honey, I blew up the economy. A disastrous day for Chancellor Reeves. The Bank of England is trying to pump fuel into the economy, but the Treasury has drilled a hole in the tank. Honey, I blew up the economy. These are 6 words no Prime Minister or Chancellor wants to say when they get home. But the Bank of England delivered a scathing verdict on Labour's first 6 months in power when it halved its growth forecast for this year to a mere 0.75%. Reeves arrived in power as a champion of growth, but on her watch the country has lurched to the brink of recession. Growth of just 0.1% is expected for the first 3 months of this year. The bank is trying to pump life into the economy by cutting interest rates by a quarter point to 4.5%. The outlook is so grim that 2 members of its Monetary Policy Committee wanted a full half-point cut. But it is cutting borrowing costs right at the moment when the government is hiking up taxes for employers through higher national insurance contributions. The bank found businesses described Ms. Reeves's budget as a deterrent to investment. A country battered by the cost of living crisis is now expected to suffer the effects of inflation climbing to 3.7%. This is driven by rising energy prices and household bills, and comes as anger continues to burn at the government, axing universal help for pensioners with winter fuel costs. An even greater worry for many households is the expected increase in unemployment, which is expected to climb to just under 5%. Ms. Reeves is working valiantly to change the mood music by championing a new runway for Heathrow, and Sir Keir Starmer is trumpeting his support for new nuclear reactors. But none of this hides the fact that households and businesses across the country face yet another difficult year. Labour came into office with the mission of securing the highest sustained growth in the G7. It had warned that Britain is set to be poorer than Poland by 2030, and poorer than both Hungary and Romania by 2040. A team that cast themselves as economic superheroes is now presiding over a situation that looks worryingly like stagflation. The Conservatives remain tarnished by memories of the chaos that doomed Liz Truss's time in office, but if the country decides Labour cannot be trusted with the economy, then its mighty Commons majority looks fragile. Kemi Badenoch knows she must restore the Conservatives' reputation for economic competence. She needs you to go into the polling station thinking that a Tory government will make you better off. But across Britain, there is an acknowledgement that Britain, like other European countries, has a growth problem. How can any government get the economy to grow at a fast enough rate to fund the gargantuan cost of world-class public services and the benefits system while finding extra cash for defense? There is no easy route to jump-starting growth, but employers across the country will point to the national insurance hike as a perfect example of what not to do. Rather than pumping rocket fuel into the economy, the Treasury has drilled a hole in the tank. I blew up the economy. A disastrous day for Chancellor Reeves. The Bank of England is trying to pump fuel into the economy, but the Treasury has drilled a hole in the tank. A harsh verdict from the Bank of England. These are 6 words no Prime Minister or Chancellor ever wants to utter. Honey, I blew up the economy. Yet, in a damning assessment of Labour's first 6 months in power, the Bank of England has slashed its UK growth forecast in half, projecting a mere 0.75% for the year. Reeves, who entered office championing economic growth, now finds herself presiding over an economy teetering on the edge of recession. The UK's economic performance in the first quarter has been especially dismal, with a growth estimate of just 0.1%. In response, the Bank of England has attempted to breathe life into the struggling economy, cutting interest rates by a quarter point to 4.5%. Yet, in a move that risks counteracting this monetary easing, the government is simultaneously hiking employer national insurance contributions, an act that businesses have warned could deter investment. A toxic mix of stagnation and inflation. Even as borrowing costs are reduced, the country faces the twin threats of inflation and stagnation, an economic nightmare known as stagflation. Inflation is expected to rise to 3.7%, driven by escalating energy prices and household bills. This is particularly painful for pensioners, who have seen the government withdraw universal winter fuel assistance. Meanwhile, unemployment is projected to climb to nearly 5%, compounding the difficulties faced by struggling households. Despite Labour's attempts to shift the narrative, such as Reeves's push for a new Heathrow runway and Starmer's backing of nuclear power, public sentiment remains grim. For many families and businesses, the present economic climate is defined by hardship, not hope. The fall from economic superheroes to stagflation, Stewart's Labour entered office with an ambitious promise to deliver the highest sustained growth in the G7. The party warned that Britain risked becoming poorer than Poland by 2030 and poorer than Hungary and Romania by 2040. Yet, in a striking reversal, the economic conditions they now preside over mirror the very stagnation they once decried. While voters still remember the financial chaos that characterized Liz Truss's short-lived tenure, Labour's economic credibility is now under serious scrutiny. Should the public conclude that Labour's stewardship of the economy is no more reliable than that of their predecessors, the party's formidable parliamentary majority could suddenly look fragile. The Conservative response. A road to redemption? For the opposition, this economic malaise presents a golden opportunity. Kemi Badenoch and the Conservative leadership understand that their route back to power hinges on restoring their reputation for economic competence. Their task is clear: persuade voters that a Tory government will make them better off. However, achieving this will require more than just attacking Labour's missteps. They must offer a compelling alternative economic vision. The UK's growth conundrum, structural challenges. Beyond party politics, Britain's economic struggles are not unique. Across Europe, governments face the same fundamental challenge: how to generate economic growth rapidly enough to sustain public services, fund the welfare state, and increase defense spending. Simply put, Britain has a growth problem. Many business leaders and economists agree that the current policy environment is not conducive to rapid growth. The national insurance hike, for instance, is seen as counterproductive at a time when businesses need incentives to expand and invest. Rather than injecting rocket fuel into the economy, the Treasury's move has instead punched a hole in the tank. Potential solutions: how to get Britain's economy moving again, if Britain is to escape this economic stagnation. Decisive action is required. Here are several key measures that could help rekindle growth. Tax reform. Easing the burden on businesses and households. Cutting employer national insurance contributions to incentivize hiring. Offering tax relief for small businesses and startups to spur investment. Reforming the VAT system to reduce costs for consumers and businesses. Infrastructure investment. Laying the foundations for growth, accelerating major transport projects, including rail and road expansions. Committing to long-term energy investments in nuclear and renewables. Modernizing digital infrastructure to improve broadband and mobile coverage nationwide. Boosting workforce productivity and skills. Expanding vocational training and apprenticeships to address skills shortages. Investing in AI and automation to enhance productivity across industries. Encouraging workforce participation through childcare and flexible working reforms. Trade and investment. Strengthening Britain's global position. Cutting red tape for businesses. Simplifying planning laws to speed up housing and infrastructure projects. Reducing bureaucratic barriers that stifle business growth and innovation. Reviewing financial regulations to ensure the UK remains a leading global financial center. The political stakes, Labour's gamble and the Tory counterattack, Labour's economic woes, provide the Conservatives with an opportunity to regain the political initiative. But while voters may be disillusioned with Reeves and Starmer, they will not automatically return to the Tories unless a credible economic alternative is presented. The electorate still remembers the fiscal turmoil of 2022, and the next election will be won by the party that can restore confidence and offer a clear roadmap for growth. For Labour, the challenge is equally daunting. The government must demonstrate that Reeves has a coherent and effective plan to reverse stagnation and tame inflation. If economic performance remains lackluster, Labour's overwhelming parliamentary majority could crumble faster than expected. Conclusion. The road ahead Britain stands at an economic crossroads. The government's current trajectory risks exacerbating stagnation, inflation, and unemployment, an outcome neither Labour nor the public can afford. The time for bold, pragmatic action is now. Whether Labour can turn the tide and reignite, growth remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. Without a major course correction, the phrase, "Honey, I blew up the economy," may become the defining epitaph of Rachel Reeves's tenure as Chancellor. So what do you guys think about this update? Let me know in the comment below. If you like my video, please press like button and subscribe for more. Hope I'll see you in next video.